charge. I just open my mouth and we talk and we have a good time. And I love spreading the word about the great organization, Daughters of the American Revolution. You are not allowed to call it D.A.R. It is not D.A.R. The Sons of American Revolution is not S.A.R. People say to me, oh, you're a member of D.A.R. And I go, D.A.R. So that's what it is. And all it means is I can trace my lineage back to someone, not necessarily a soldier, but someone who helped the colonists in the American Revolution. That's all that means. And some of you here may have seen the Gilmore Girls on television. The Gilmore, there we go. And the Gilmore Girls kind of New England, and they were wearing hats and they're drinking tea and they're pointing their little fingers. That's not the D.A.R. The D.A.R. is out there doing things like you are doing. God, home, and country is our motto. We help veterans. We're working hard on celebrating America 250. We work with literacy. We work with history in schools. We are doing all of that. When I go to the meeting, I frequently get a glass of iced tea, but I'm not drinking tea in a cup and sticking my finger up and thinking that I'm, better. All it means is that I can trace my lineage back to that person, and I will tell you a little bit about that. So the D.A.R., just so you have an idea about it, and I had to do some research. The D.A.R., first of all, is non-political. Has nothing to do with party, belief, ideology, any of that. We are non-profit, non-political, and we are totally volunteers. We are a service organization. The D.A.R. helped, they were founded in 1890. They helped package things in World War I. They did bandages. World War II, they helped with scrap drives and trying to sell war bonds. They were right in the thick of everything, volunteering their assistance. 1890, as I said, our motto is God, home, and country. We promote historic preservation, education, and I think our big thing is patriotism. A lot of our kids today, in schools, we used to do more when I first started teaching. We did more about patriotic things, and they don't seem to be able to fit that in as much anymore in the schools. So we are working on trying to promote patriotism. And I'm kind of think even on a bad day, I'd rather live here than any place else. Yes, good to see you shaking your head, yes. Today, there are over 190,000 women in 3,000 chapters around the globe. We actually have chapters in Europe and beyond because there are enough women who are there that they can have a chapter. What does it take to be a daughter of the American Revolution? Well, first of all, you're supposed to be a woman, a girl. You have to be 18 years old, and it has nothing to do with race or religion. You prove your lineal descent from an accepted patriot. We call them patriots. Could be man, woman. It could be the woman who kept the general store going and helped get provisions for General Washington's army. So it can be a woman, it can be a man. We have African Americans that were helpful, that are members of our group. Race has nothing to do with that. Our national headquarters are in Washington, D.C., and that's an interesting story. The women got together and they knew they wanted to collect wonderful things. We have a museum. The states have separate rooms and museums of wonderful artifacts and wonderful books on ancestry, and they needed a place to house them. So they figured Washington, D.C. They looked around and they looked around. Well, the best they needed a lot of money, but the best they could do, they found some kind of swampy land. And they bought this swampy land, and the men said, that is the dumbest thing we've ever heard of. The D.A.R. headquarters takes an entire city block in Washington, D.C. It is rented out for weddings, and in a lot of movies, they use part of our national headquarters for like the movie National Treasure, when they're trying to show Washington, D.C., but they can't get you into a building with security clearances. Come on to the D.A.R. headquarters, give us some money, and we'll be glad to let you in. So we are used a lot for movies and television. We also house Washington, D.C.'s largest concert hall, which I thought was interesting. We support schools. We have 5 schools. Berry College is in Georgia. Crossnorth School, North Carolina. Kate Duncan Smith is in Alabama. Hillside School is in Massachusetts. And the Hindeman Settlement is in Kentucky. And we support, these are private schools that were put there when there were problems and there were not a lot of public schools around. And we knew it was very important to have education. So we started these schools and we have continued them. The Ohio D.A.R., okay, so we are local. We are the Mahoning chapter of the D.A.R. Then the big Ohio D.A.R. supports Christian Waldschmidt Homestead. I don't know if anybody here has ever visited it, but it is down in the Dayton, Cincinnati area. That is where Camp Dennison was. And during the Civil War, they used to train soldiers at the old Camp Dennison. And so that is now Christian Waldschmidt Homestead, and we support that also. Coming up, not too long, September 17th is a very, very important date in our history. Anybody know what happened?
Constitution.
You deserve, I don't know, how about a hug later? I don't have any prizes. Right, it's the Constitution. So what we do every year is we get excited, we go outside, we all have bells, and exactly 4 o'clock on September 17th, we ring the bells. Now, I want to show you, if you would like to come and join us, I don't think there's any reason why you can't. I brought 2 copies to show you. Back in the 30s, the Ohio legislature was trying to do, I don't understand, something about the road going from Lake Erie and down through. And so Market Street in Youngstown was part of this commemorative highway. So the D.A.R. chapter in 1930 said, let's make ours very, very special. They went to Lexington and Concord. They brought back stones. And actually, they are etched, these stones are in the ground, and they are etched which battlefield that the stone came from, Lexington or Concord. They also brought this huge boulder, and it was brought into Youngstown. This is at the corner of Maple Drive and Market Street in Boardman. We have flagpoles there, and it's the Road of Remembrance to honor all who have served in our military. So we gather there, there's a picture, that's our yearbook, and there's a picture in there so you can see it, but anybody can come. I think we have extra bells. I brought Lisa with me today. Lisa, okay, so they don't call our person who's in charge, they don't call her the president, she is the regent. So Lisa, my good friend Lisa McKinnon, is the regent of our chapter, and I don't think anybody would mind if somebody else came and rang a bell with us to celebrate. The people in that neighborhood frequently come. Bring a bell if you have one, and if not, you can just toot and holler. The cars go by on Market Street and they look at us like, what? But September 17th, very, very important. And we celebrate the entire week. So we also participate in naturalization ceremonies. I think they're talking about bringing them back to Youngstown, but with COVID, everything was being done in Cleveland, and we could not go to naturalization ceremonies. We would go and give every person who became an American citizen an American flag and a copy of the Constitution. And I think they're going to bring those back here to town. We preserve cemetery headstones. This is a big thing, and I brought the guide, special equipment, not special equipment, but special, I'm going to call it a chemical and things that you need to be able to do that. And we learned from the S.A.R. how to do it. I can't say we were the originators, but a friend of mine had done it for years, and he taught the daughters how to do it. And now we have a mighty group that goes around. They have completed the cemetery next to the Poland Presbyterian, graveyard. Oh, I said the wrong word. The graveyard, thank you, okay, I know. The graveyard next to the Poland Presbyterian Church, and they, I believe, have finished the cemetery at Riverside Drive in Poland, and they have branched out. So I can leave this with you. It explains about that. And that's a great thing for a group to get into, because I imagine with your history here, you've got tons of old graves. And you want to preserve, you certainly want to preserve those any way that you can. Do I have any Vietnam veterans in the room? Were you ever pinned? Pinned? I only have one pinned left.
No.
Okay, I'll let you. You never knew about it? I've got 3. Were you pinned? Oh, Lisa, I only have 1 left. Okay, will you bring them to the meeting, and I will make sure they get back out here. I only have 1. All right, now, do I have a spouse of a deceased Vietnam veteran in the room? No, very special pin. Okay, so here's what this is, and I will get more pins. Barack Obama said that because we had not done a very nice job, I'm so sorry, we had not done a very nice job of welcoming back the Vietnam veterans at the end of the war. He said it's time to change all that. So, regardless of your political feelings about his administration, it was a very nice thing for him to do. So, he said, I want every Vietnam veteran to receive a pin and for people to say, thank you for your service to our country. And we're sorry we weren't nicer. Now, I was pretty young. My classmates, I know several classmates that went into the service during that time. So we thank you for your service. We are glad that you are here to tell your stories. And I will get more. I need 2 more, Lisa.
The guy in the back.
That guy in the back?
Yeah.
I used to work with that guy in the back.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Mr. Cornell and I were at Boardman Local Schools together. Thank you so much. And that's a lot of men. Hey, congratulations. A lot of the men have put it on a ball cap. And we will
He's my
get
brother-in-law.
we will get more of this. Okay, now a little bit about me, and let me explain about my patriot. Because I think this is the part of the D.A.R. that is interesting. I don't know where to stand because that's right in the middle of everything. My patriot's name is William Rowe, R-O-W-E. He was born in Oyster Bay, Queens, New York in 1739. He lived through the Revolution, and he ended up being buried in Kentucky, and the date is 1811. He served in the Queen's militia. He was captured, and he was a prisoner of war. What I found interesting when I did my research is how did they keep the British keep these prisoners of war? Well, because they didn't have a lot of land, they used ships in the harbor. So my relative was on a ship called the HMS Jersey. It had been built in 1736, and it became a prison ship in 1780. Something I thought interesting and awful. You probably know exactly, you're good. You know exactly when the revolution ended. What was the year of that?
Cornwallis surrendered to Washington in 1781.
Yeah, you get 2 hugs. Guess what? Those prisoners had to stay on those ships until 1783 because that's when the treaty was signed. War was over, and all of these people were still on those terrible ships. So my Patriot ship was so bad it was nicknamed Hell Ship. It was anchored in the Wallabout Bay, which is today is between Manhattan and the Williamsburg bridges in the New York City harbor. Soldiers, sailors, rebel citizens were housed aboard the ship. And they say between 8 and 10 of these prisoners died every day from smallpox, dysentery, typhoid, and yellow fever. When the Navy began expanding the Brooklyn Navy Yard, they had to dig. And they found bones. Bunches of bones. The prisoners were harassed and abused. They were offered release if they would join the British Navy. So my guy said, no, but I can't believe he lived. And to me, as I'm looking through all of this, I'm here because he lived. I'm sorry, I get emotional talking about that. Forgive me. All right, back on track, Emily. King George said, he's not a POW, he's a traitor. So I don't have to feed him. So the British never fed the prisoners on these ships. Relatives and friends would try to bring them food. And that's why they just died in mass numbers. It was estimated that 20,000 were held on the 16 ships. Half of those 20,000 died, right? While being hung on those ships. The Jersey was designed to hold 400 originally, but it housed 1,100 prisoners. Roughly 8,000 prisoners were registered by the British as held on board. Boy, those British, they are really, really good. They kept track of every prisoner's name. And they published them. And I looked through, don't you love Google? I looked through on Google and they had all the pages of the book printed. And I could see William Rowe on the Jersey. At the war's end, records show 4,435 Americans died in battle. I thought it would be a lot more. 4,000 died in battle. 11,000 died on those ships. Now there are monuments there today for all of these people who did die on those ships. What I think is a real travesty, the war's over and they wouldn't let them go for 2 years. And they had to survive another 2 years like that, and more and more and more of them died. I mean, I just think that's awful. So at any rate, he lives, he comes back, he ends up in Kentucky, he's married, he has children, yada, yada, yada. We get to a woman, her name is Sarah Rowe. Sarah Rowe marries Evan Evans, and Evan Evans is my great, 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 great grandfather. My maiden name was Evans, and so we trickle all the way down because William Rowe survived, I don't know how. When I read that, I was like, just awful that happened. At any rate, so that is my story, and every patriot has a story, and they're very interesting to listen to. This is it's a lot more popular now since you see all the commercials for Ancestry.com, and people can look and see, where they came from and this and this and that. And I had told my mother years ago, I said, Mom, I'd really like to join. I think it's interesting to do that. And she said, well, I tried to do that. I can't get you in. I said, what's wrong? And she said, the church burned down. I said, what church? Well, I can't prove that Sarah Rowe married Evan Evans. I'm like, okay. And I talked to a friend in California. She said, oh, there are all kinds of other ways they're using today. And she was the one who helped me. And somebody in the Los Angeles Public Library found a copy of Sarah Rowe's grandmother's will. And it listed her, my granddaughter, Sarah Rowe Evans. And the D.A.R. would accept that, knowing that, like Hillary Rodham Clinton, she was using her maiden name in the middle there. So that's the D.A.R. Lisa and I know a little bit about SAR too. We'd love to have you join us. We're just a nice group of people that we are working as you are to make things better here right in the Mahoning Valley if we can. Oh, we do a huge golf outing every year. We have pledged money to Veterans Haven. They are taking, I don't know if you've read about this, they're taking those shipping containers, those metal shipping containers like you see on the ships, and they're turning them into housing for homeless vets. And they need help furnishing those. And we're using proceeds from our golf outing to do that. And any of you who like to golf, please come and golf Youngstown Country Club for a wonderful, wonderful cause. And that's it, I guess.
When and where do you meet?
The D.A.R. and anybody can come to our lunch and our meeting. If any of you would like to come along, we'd love to have you come. We meet on the second Monday of the month, except in September. September we meet on the third Monday because it's closer to Ring the Bell Constitution Day. Second Monday of the month at 11, well, we eat lunch at 12 noon at a la carte catering in Canfield. And don't be afraid, you know, you say, well, I may have somebody, I think I have somebody. We have a woman who is wonderful at genealogy, and she helps the people. So you don't have to worry, like, I don't know how to go back through and find out all of my ancestors and how this all works. So anyway, that's it. And I would like to put in one more, please.
I just want to say that with that invitation comes, we do need to know
Oh,
who's coming because it's an RSVP.
It's an
and
R-
a luncheon buffet that costs $16.
It's $16, but you could, anybody who would like to come.
I didn't want 20 people showing up.
Yeah, that's true. A la carte catering might go, woo! Yeah, let us know, because if you'd like to come, we would love to have you come and yes, and to see what we do. I'd also, since I know you guys are history people too, the Poland Historical Society is doing a bus trip December 9th, and we're going to go over to Akron to the Perkins Mansion. Mr. General Perkins founded Akron. And then we're going to the John Brown house, John Brown, the slavery abolitionist. But the big thing is we're going to get to see Stand Hewitt Hall at night with the Christmas lights. So we're going to leave later in the day, like 11:30, 12 o'clock. And I have information I will leave if any of you would like to come and join us on the bus. We would love to have you. Now, these century houses, I see there are 2 houses there that are in Poland. How come my house isn't there? My house was built in 1840. I have a plaque. Oh yeah. Stop and visit me. You can come visit anytime.
These are all in Springfield Township.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, sorry, I'm in the village. I'm in the village. If it's Springfield Township, I get that. But I do. My mom and dad worked on fixing it up. It was just an amazing project. Takes labor of love, as you know, with all the wonderful things you've done here. A joy to be here, and thank you ever so much. And let Lisa or myself know. And if you're a guy and want to know about SAR, I'll take your information, and my friend Jonathan would hook you up with their people. So, questions, problems, issues? Sorry, I cry. I know. Well, it is pretty neat. And if you will look at your own ancestry, that somebody lived through something, and you're alive today, I'm like, wow. When I was teaching school, I'm going to go back. When I was teaching school, I'll never forget, of course, I was at Boardman High School teaching on 9/11. Phone call came into my office, you better turn the TV on. And we sat there and we watched the buildings come down, and I'm like, and the young man was called out of my class. And he came back in later and he said, That was my dad. It's okay, he left an hour before. His father worked for a local company, and he was meeting with people at the Twin Towers. So, anyway, thank you so much for asking me to come. Thank you.